Hi, my name is Ava, and today I'm going to talk about de-influencing. De-influencing is when creators push people to stop buying things that influencers want you to buy. There are so many things that people don't need, yet they still buy it just because it's popular or because their favorite creator told them to buy it. Some of these products can be of good use, but most of the time they're not, just because the people overbuying usually have tons of products like these, so they don't really need a new one. I found that seeing de-influencing content can be performative at times, where you'll see a creator and they'll say, well, don't buy this popular cup, don't buy this makeup product, and it's just always the same 5 products, so it seems like they just kind of saw someone else's video and wanted to do it so that they can get hyped too. And then also, some of these creators that talk about de-influencing are heavy consumers. So then it just makes you wonder, like, are they just doing this because they want the views, or do they actually care about overconsumption? But I have seen a lot of de-influencing videos where people just tell you about very specific things that you shouldn't buy just because they're popular. And I do like the fact that people are talking about overconsumption, but a lot of the times when something's a trend, it doesn't always last a long time. And it's not just influencers that want you to overconsume, it's the companies too. I don't think people realize that ads are filled with so much rhetoric. I'm currently learning how to analyze media in my American pop culture class, and it's taught me how all pieces of media have somewhat of a greater meaning. Businesses always would rather sell you a dream rather than their actual product. And this is the first thing that you learn in marketing, where you're not trying to sell the specific product, because that just makes it seem like you're being pushy and like you just want the consumer to spend money. But if you sell a dream, then that'll make it so easy for others to want to buy your product. An example of this is like when you see car ads. They're never just telling you about the specific features of the car. Most of the times, it's gonna be a commercial where it's a family or just a person that most people wanna be like. They have an amazing life, they have friends, or they're rich, just something that a lot of people want to achieve. And then the car's in the background, or they'll be driving the car. Just something like that where it's never really about, oh, this car can drive fast, because people do care about that in some ways, but at the same time, they don't want to seem like they're actually trying to sell it to you. They want you to get hooked onto this dream and hope that if you buy that product, you'll become like that. This is also seen in beauty ads or filler ads, where they're not just talking about, oh, you should buy our product because it's good. Most of the time, it shows a regular woman and she looks average or even below average, and then using the product magically makes her look amazing and she's the most beautiful girl in the world, so you want to be like that too. And this is something that most companies try to trap you with. So the next time you see an ad or a piece of media, you should try to analyze it and think about, are they trying to sell me the product? Or are they trying to sell me a dream? Glossier is a good example of how companies sell you something else rather than their actual product. Glossier is a very popular makeup company that was founded in 2014, and although they are still popular, they were more popular back then. Their Millennial pink company color and their clean girl aesthetic made a lot of people love their products, because their main focus was that they have simple makeup, nothing heavy, no full face makeup, just light makeup for girls who just want to have the no makeup look. It wasn't about, oh, our blush is the brightest, our eyeshadows are the most pigmented, but it was about giving the clean look and the natural beauty look. So they did really good on selling the dream of being a girl that wears light makeup, a simple girl, a minimalistic girl, and a lot of people fell for this. The other tactic they use is by selling a lot of limited edition products. And especially when products are limited edition, a lot of people think, I have to buy this because it's never going to come back. And Glossier also has somewhat of a cult-like following, where a lot of the people that love them want to buy every single product they have. And they don't have an extremely large amount of products, so that is possible. And there's just a lot of people that own everything, they only wear Glossier products, they buy out every single limited edition item because they're just so loyal to that brand. And that is the ultimate goal for most companies. They want you to be so loyal that you'll never switch and that you only use their products. aesthetics. And I think a lot of people don't realize that the word cult is not just for random religious groups, but it can be used in a lot of other ways. There's a lot of people that have cult followings, and it's just when there's a large group of people that have a sense of loyalty to a specific entity. You also need to realize that most influencers overconsume because that's literally their job. The whole point of their job is to overconsume and try out things so that they can show people and so that they can tell people to buy them. So when you watch these influencers buying everything and buying the new hottest thing, that's because that's what they're supposed to do. But that's not what you're supposed to do if that's not your job. It doesn't really make sense to do that when a lot of the times they're getting half of the stuff that they have for free. So you're busy overdrawing your bank account because you think that everyone else has it, but they really didn't spend that much money on it. There are also many popular things that people just buy for aesthetics. And a lot of the times this makes sense for other influencers just because they're recording their life all the time. But as a normal person, it doesn't really make sense to constantly buy cute aesthetic things for your room or just stuff like that where no one else is seeing your room. So why do you need your room to be fully aesthetic? Why do you need everything in your life to be aesthetic when you're not creating content with that? And a lot of the times, a lot of little aesthetic items can often lead to clutter when you have too many of them. A lot of the time, social media and influencers want people to buy the most expensive items. I recently saw someone that was fear-mongering where they were telling people that they needed to buy this organic paprika just because it had some random chemical in it. And the chemical is very normal. It's something that's supposed to be in seasonings, but they were trying to tell people that they need to buy the expensive one by using this big word that most people won't know and won't bother to look up. So it's okay to buy expensive things if you really want to invest in it and if it makes sense for your life, but it doesn't make sense to just go buy the most expensive thing just because someone told you to. So here are some things that you should invest in. The first one is basic clothing. These are things like jeans where you can't buy something trendy if you want to, but don't buy something expensive if you're not sure if you're going to like it later on. So if you want to invest in something like that, buy a pair of jeans that you know won't go out of style and you know you won't change your mind about. I feel like this with heels, where most shoes are expensive just because you want to pay more to get good quality. And I see the cutest heels online and I always want to buy them. But then I think about it and I know I'm not going to wear them more than once a year because it's always some like bright pair that I can't really wear in a professional setting or an everyday setting. So that's when I'm being influenced and I'm not thinking about what is the best choice for my wallet or what's the best choice that I'm actually going to use. Makeup is another item that a lot of people invest in, and I'm someone that likes to buy more expensive makeup because I have my specific brands where I know that they work for me, so I'll keep buying that higher price point. But the thing is, you don't need 15 eyeshadow palettes because most people who wear makeup every single day are gonna use the same palette, they're gonna use the same products, and they're not really gonna change it up very often. So it doesn't make sense to have all these crazy colors, and that's okay if you want to have a palette, if you want to have fun, but it doesn't really make sense to just have tons and tons of makeup when you're not gonna wear that every day. And the same goes with perfume. I'm someone who likes high quality perfumes, but I don't have a perfume collection. I just have a few that I like and I know I'm gonna wear all the time. But you see people, especially on TikTok or on social media, where they have whole entire walls just lined with perfume, color coordinated, and they have hundreds of it. And you know they're not gonna finish that ever, especially before it expires. So it's essentially just a waste of money. And the last thing you should invest in is furniture. And this is something where a lot of people invest in it, but the thing is, like, a lot of people will make a piece of furniture really popular. And I always see it's either something really cheap or it's something extremely expensive. And so a lot of people will buy like little side tables that are trendy and in a weird shape. And most of the times you're not really gonna like that forever. And there are some people that do have that type of style and they'll like that and they'll keep it in their house for a long time. But you can usually tell the difference between if you see something and you think it's cute or if you know that you'll actually love that item. And then on the higher end, there are some really expensive pieces of furniture that people have tried to tell me to buy, and I think about it and I wish that I had it, but then you really have to think, am I gonna keep this forever? Am I gonna use it? And do I actually want it? or do I want it just because someone else is telling me to get it? Ultimately, de-influencing has its good sides and its bad sides, but the overall moral to this story is that you shouldn't overconsume. And I understand that it's not easy to stop doing that when you're so used to overbuying all the time, but you do have to be more conscious about your choices, and you also have to have self-control. So just because you have the money to buy something doesn't mean that you should. And a tip to stop overconsuming would be, if you find something online and you think that you really want it, just add it to your cart or save it and then wait. You can wait a couple days, you can wait a week or even longer. And if you think that you actually need it and you still want it, then you can buy it. But a lot of the times when you come back to that thing after a while, you'll realize that you don't actually want it. And I do this all the time because I like to make lists of stuff that I want and that I don't necessarily want to purchase in the moment. And then I come back a couple months later and I hate everything. And I realized that if I had bought that thing, I probably would have thrown it away, or I would have wished that I hadn't bought it. So just make sure that you take some time when it comes to shopping and know that it's not a race and that you need to make sure to reflect on all your shopping choices. So if you like this video, please leave a like and comment down below your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Bye.